He should have went on stage. He should have just showed everyone, humiliated himself, and grabbed the fire and gone. What is up, everyone? It's Russo. I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome back to the channel. The ASMR Spritz is some intelligent neon. And then the ASMR Sip is some cold brew. All right. I had to react to this video. This shit's fucking hilarious. It's very hard for me to, hold my shit in on this, but I'm a bit late to the party. I've been doing a lot of behind the business, shit, and a lot of connections, networking, and everything. But I did want to react to Nick Walker, and I'll have Andrew throw up Nick Walker. Nick Walker is called The Mutant, and he's one of the most visually stimulating bodybuilders to ever exist in history. One of the hardest working bodybuilders of all time, very hyper driven, and he was basically on a path to be a very young Mr. Olympia, almost going too quickly, but there's no such thing in stupid high performance bodybuilding. He's just like, he was way up there, very young, and it seemed like if he could just dial it, he could become top 3 at the Olympia. Now, did he ever make top 3? No, but he was coming in, he did make top 3, but he was coming in to be like, number 1. So everyone's excited to see Nick Walker for the Olympia. Everyone at the Olympia who didn't see me, I am just focused on my grind right now. It's time for me to actually output high. There's nothing for me to do at the Olympia. I don't need to see no one, especially dudes, continuing to talk about me for months. I don't understand like how you think you're above when you're below, but I'm moving on with my life. I'm very happy to be moving on with my life. And I just see Nick Walker having his coach sit down and basically make him do the back out speech. So it's very, very disrespectful to back out of the Olympia when you get the special invite. You have thousands of fans, followers supporting you, pushing you up, vibing you up to do this, extreme activity, and you should be blessed because a lot of people do that extreme activity and nobody sees it and they damage their health and it amounts to nothing. Complete opposite for Nick Walker. Amassed him thousands of fans, thousands of dollars, thousands of sponsorships opportunities, and it got him on the biggest stage in bodybuilding currently, and that's a special invite. And basically what I'm saying is you should show up no matter what. And if you show up wrong, you should humiliate yourself. We have, I'll have Andrew throw it up, Jay Cutler at the Olympia injured. We have Dorian Yates at the Olympia injured. You show up for your fans. Your fans want to see you. Your dichotomy is what they want to see. And if you need to humiliate yourself and be like, look, I fucked up. I wasn't as driven. I lost my fire. But hey, I look like shit. Last place, I will be better. That's the way out of this. Nick didn't take that way. And it's the funniest video ever, Andrew. Like this coach, I'll have you look up the coach. I always forget his name, but like he looks like he's out of Tony Hawk Pro Skater in this video. And I was asking Andrew if he had a snapback hat on, or I was gonna go drive to the mall near my house and go to Lids and get a snapback hat. But this dude has his hat snapped back. It's like a fucking documentary shot. Like they're angled on a chair. You can tell they like mic'd this shit up and like we're hyperventilating shooting this. I gotta get into it by time.
All right, guys, what is up? It is Thursday.
What is up, guys? Tony Hawk on the grind, steady on the grind.
Thursday afternoon, October 3rd. This is not a video that we want to make, especially.
This is not a video we want to make. It's why I'm pro documentary style, not looking at the camera because I don't want to look at the camera. But yeah, I didn't want to make this video. I was actually forced to make this video by Nick because Nick can't own up by himself. So like here I am, like the coach having to do it for him.
Especially after the video that Nick had to make last year, but we made a decision this week for Nick to be not competing in this year's Olympia.
Yo, like, my hat when it's flipped around, Andrew, like, we on business. Like, Nick was steady on the grind, Tony Hawk steady on the growth hormone, and we just realized, he actually wasn't steady on the grind. He wasn't steady on the growth hormone, and like, we had to wait till the last second to stop all the temper tantrums, and then he wouldn't do it himself, so I put on this soccer jersey, I got out of the skate park real quick, and I came here to deliver these bars to you to state that he will be pussying out of the Olympia.
It was a hard decision. Obviously, this has been a very hard few weeks for us. And just to be really what we want to do in this video, guys, is just be truly transparent with you and honest with you about where Nick's been at, and you know, what the decisions that we made.
Holy shit, this microphone setup, like the cameras, like you'll see, Andrew, the cameras are good. It's like they didn't sample the audio at all. Dude, it's like watching like fucking like dog shit 240p audio. That
made us come to this decision, or the thought processes. But honest truth is that Nick right now, in terms of his body, in terms of the bodybuilder that you guys know, his body is just not there. You know, and I've been wrestling with this for a couple weeks. Obviously,
I went back to the board. I'm like, bro, this dude is the walking pharmacy. I don't know what, like, we got the sauce maxed, you know. I don't know if he wasn't steady on the grind, steady on the growth. That's why Tony Hawk came on here to sit down in this little white chair to make you guys all feel positive that he is backing out. There is no backing out of the Olympia, bro. You as a coach, this is disgusting. I guess you were forced to do this. If he fucked up like that, you should be like, no, buddy, as your coach, like, you know, it happens, man. Everyone takes a fall, and if you want everyone to respect you for taking a fall, I'm taking a fall. I need boosted up. I need rebuild. I need my ego rebuilt. Whatever, dude. I lost my fire. I need someone to light me up. This is just something else. This is like gotta be one of the funniest like meme videos of all time of like actual open bodybuilding. Like, bro just looks straight out of Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Nick and I have had very intentional conversations. But we feel that it's best for not only himself, his career, what's most important, but also...
We feel, Andrew, that he's such a diva that the divaness will get to a level where he becomes Giga Diva, and I can't control Giga Diva, so we just want to keep him at Diva and not put him on the stage looking like Blastoise.
So for the Olympia, for the current physique that Nick has, to not be represented on the Olympia stage, you know, and we did, I want to say that we did everything in our power this year to get him on stage.
We did everything in our power. That's why, despite all our power, he's not getting on stage when he could just be a man. Have Andrew throw up the be a man.
Be a man.
And get on stage looking like shit and then apologize to the fans. Olympia, people that gave him this invite, this opportunity, that built his brand, that humiliate me. Next year, I'm gonna use this as fire because I ran out of fire. And the Tony Hawk Pro Skater dude who's like, bro, you're good, man. Steady on the grind, steady on the growth, Tony Hawk. Like, this guy needs to take a step back, or you need to add in another coach that battles this coach, so you guys know you don't got no pampering motherfucker and he's actually real with you.
But at the same time, I know full and well, Nick knows full and well the type of physique that can be represented. And it's just not.
Basically, we know that Nick is, you know, he's going to fall down the placing cards, Andrew. The diva will implode when he goes from number whatever to last here. And, you know, instead of being a man and just taking the psychological damage, like, we don't need Giga Diva Nick.
There. You know, so we can go into the, you know, the X, Y's, and Z's of why we think that his physique isn't there. I don't really.
You know, bro, I ordered the whole pharmacy, Andrew. Like, I literally just, like, you know, when you go to like select all items and you don't even click add to cart, you're like, buy now. You know, that showed up. Tony Hawk steady on the grind, Nick steady on the growth, and you know, it just wasn't a drug issue, man. I got drugs, bro. I just snapped the hat back. I'm like, holy fuck, I actually have to put my hat back now. It's that bad.
I really think that all of that is super important, but what I do think is important is that you have a bodybuilder that's been meticulous in everything that he's done since.
Obviously not meticulous enough. Obviously you did not hold his heat, hold his fire, and you guys should subscribe and watch my spiritual biohacking. You didn't do that. You weren't holding his heat, telling him, hey man, you're fire, you need a fucking inferno right now, and it's not there. You weren't a good coach, bro. This is why the hat snapped back. It's serious. It's serious. Wear the fucking hat like a normal dude your age. Put the hat on straight. You don't need to do the like, are you a skateboarder, bro? I want to see you fucking hit up the skate park after this video.
Before 2019, him and I started working together in 2018. And I just think that the honest truth to the reason why his body's not where it needs to be is his physique's just tired. You know, Nick has had a lot of things happen in his life the past few years. And it seems like, and we've talked a lot about this, but it seems like he operated very well in chaos.
Oh my God, he operated with fire, Andrew. When the bodybuilder's fired up, his physique looks better. When everyone around him relaxes him and I'm like, hey man, we still have to, be a bodybuilder. You gotta be, what? And he's like, what do you think's gonna happen, dude? This is why the hat snapped back. Boom. Is because it seems like you couldn't get him or whip him. And then if you couldn't get him or whip him or light him up, you don't have fire, bro. You don't. No offense. You couldn't fire him up. You didn't find fire for him. You didn't find heat for him. You didn't find someone to give him that. And you didn't remove him from the family pampering him down. You're working with the world-class athlete that's in the fucking top whatever of open bodybuilding. You need to keep him mentally locked. All of Andrew threw up Kevin Levrone. Kevin Levrone would sleep with guns, Andrew. He would move into a trap house apartment when he would get ready and he'd just have like knives and he'd be like, I'm staying locked. Kevin Levrone got ready real fucking quick, buddy. Okay, what is Nick playing like My Little Pony, Tony Hawk Pro Skater with you in between the fucking gym? And I'm not even hating on Nick. Nick's like one of my favorite guys. I love his drive. I love when he's on point. I just think that this was a failure of the people around him to not be real with him. And will Nick come back from this? We don't know. We don't know. With this sort of shit where it's like so up there, high level bodybuilding, one misstep like this is why you don't see these long reigns of champions. And when we study Jay Cutler, he lived his life in a box, and that's why Jay Cutler's Jay Cutler. He knew it. Stay on point. Stay locked. Stay locked. Stay locked. Stay locked. No Tony Hawk Pro Skater coach, buddy. We had a guy, lock in, lock in, lock. You're not locked. You're not locked. That wasn't going on by Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
And his body operated very well in chaos. And over the past 8 months, Nick has done a lot of things to improve not only the quality of his life, but also to go back and kind of fix and mend relationships and just be a better person, be a better human. And it seems like now...
Yeah, Nick got soft, and I can't say it direct because I'm not a legit coach. I should be ruining my athlete right now for the disgrace he is as a bodybuilder, and I should be forcing him to get on stage and be humiliated in front of all the international bodybuilding audience so this never happens again and his career is revived. Instead, I'm Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I'm steady on the grind. I'm steady on the growth hormone. I'll just flip the hat back and back him out like a cat in a hat.
Now that he's done that, his body is just finally just like releasing all this tension and stress and turmoil.
Yeah, he just like, Andrew, like when you compete, you have to be in war mode. All his family was loving on him and softening him up. And I'm Tony Hawk Pro Skater, and I didn't take him back in the war room like, hey man, this is the biggest stage in the world and you're not looking to. I just let him go, Tony Hawk, steady on the grind, steady on the growth.
That he's been carrying around for a long time, and it's just throwing out the brakes and saying, hey, like, now's not the time, so
this guy has nailed him plenty of times. It's crazy that this happened, honestly. It really is. I'm not saying this guy doesn't know his shit. I'm not saying this guy hasn't dialed anyone. He has. It's just like this whole video is a giant fucking meme. Obviously, I'm gonna laugh my ass off at this shit. It's like, wow, I can't believe this is how they decided to do this and they didn't just go and him show up look like shit. He couldn't take it, the diva. All right, I want to see what Nick had to say because this is a horrible coach speech. I had so many coaches in my life. I did so many different sports, and these soft guy coaches I can't do. And the coach needs to be super nuanced with my energy for me to even consider them. And if they spell me down constantly and try and overspell me down, if they're gassing me, if they're glazing me, only a true coach can do the yin and the yang. And this guy's in the yin. He's not in the yang. And he should have went like, okay, fuck it, 100% yang. Okay, bro. Like, hey, you're softening up. We're gonna move to fucking, what's the place in Habib? We're gonna go to Dagestan. I'm gonna get some fucking rocks and shit. And you're going to lift it on the mountain like a mountain goat and get angry again. And all these Muslims are going to fucking, blast you back to how you should be.
We've done our best to get him in shape, to try to force him into shape. And
you can't just be like, we've done our best. Show us what your best is, coach. You're not even showing us, dude. He didn't go.
In all of this is to protect Nick, to protect his image, to
protect his image. He's a pussy. He should have went on stage. He should have just showed everyone, humiliated himself, and grabbed the fire and gone and came back. Instead, he gets none of the fire he should get because I'm the coach. I want to maintain coaching him. It's not my fault. It's his fault. We try really hard. He really soft long time. And you know, I was in the skate park with my hat snapped back and boom. I don't even know the skate. Like, what is the ollie? I know the ollie. Kickflip. This guy looks like he could do like a fucking quadruple kickflip in this video. All right, here's Nick. So Nick's looking like the bloat lord. You know, I love looking like the bloat lord, but I'm not an open competitive bodybuilder. I've never even done a show.
I had that came to making this decision.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much like you said, you know, this is probably the hardest decision, you know. Obviously last year with the injury, that was one thing, but you know, I felt I was in a very good spot going into this prep.
I relate to this heavy, man. Like, nobody's controlling his mind. Nobody was controlling his spirit while he was trying to redo his life. No one was there to hold his fire and have heat put on him or relight him. And his fire went out while Tony Hawk was in the skate park getting all the fucking clients because he coaches Nick. He had no perception that his athlete was walking down the road of completely ruining his mind. It will be very hard for Nick to come back. This would have been an easy correction of moving him away from that soft life until after the Olympia and then working on having someone there constantly to rub fire and heat on him if he needed it. And I'm a big fan of Nick, and I was not a big fan of this coach because I don't like a dude who's like, how old, like, Andrew, when's the last time you wore a snapback? Like, exactly
How I felt, and I guess, you know, like what Matt said, I think I operate better in chaos. And coming here for the Olympia prep, I truly felt relaxed. You know, I felt okay.
Good, not feel relaxed. Okay. Russo relates to his little high school years in wrestling. Oh my God, I didn't feel relaxed all winter. I was in war mode all winter. If my wrestling partner is driving to me, beating the shit out of me, why would I be letting that heat go? He's trying to keep me through the season. I'm trying to keep him through the season. We give each other licks. We hold our heat. We feed on each other's fire, my dog. And it's one of those things where I'm not going to blame you for not having this perception. I just think Tony Hawk's steady on the growth should have been like, dude, this mind state ain't going to win you the Olympia. That's a real quick fix. That'd be a real quick fix the minute that started happening. But you got the fucking Care Bear Tony Hawk, dude.
And I guess my body did too. And my body just said,
the minute you neurochemically let go of that state, everything's going to follow. This is not rocket science. This should not have been an issue. There's a reason why Kevin Levrone fucking sleeps with guns and knives and shit when he's competing. There's a reason why Dorian Yates is in the dungeon screaming, one more, you know, just like fucking going, like, that's the whole point of bodybuilding. I get that, you know, it's more professional these days, but like, the core essence of bodybuilding was that hyper masculine, locked in, sigma level laser drive that your audience could feed off of. And you're an open competitor that's top whatever in the world. Tony Hawk lets you down, bro. You don't need a skateboarding coach. You don't gotta be steady on the ground. It gotta be rough water.
that I need a break. I need to relax. And that was it. You know,
So sad. So sad that, again, fire is this rare persona. It's running dry. It's becoming really rare. It's a lot to hold the heat these days. And I'm not going to go in the tinfoil hat why, but it's sad to see that nobody held this dude's fire. It's sad to see him completely ruin it again. And then it's horrendous to see this coach not make him get up there and embarrass himself and humiliate himself to recollect. What is going on here? Care Bears.
and I think a lot of the stress that I, you know, endured over the past year just kind of caught up. And this prep obviously did not go the way we wanted it to. And it sucks because this is the second year in a row that I gotta miss the Olympia.
So I'm a very emotional dude. I have battled emotions my entire life. I've battled emotions internally so much that women can go and detect the extreme emotional battles I had without even fucking communicating with them. Okay? This is not how you deal with this. How you would deal with this, my dog, is you would fucking go up there and you would eat that humiliation, and it would cause an implosion of you and you would explode back. Because Tony Hawk, steady on the growth, steady on the grind, Care Bear guy, is making you do whatever the fuck this is while he's got his hat snapped back, you are now putting yourself spiritually in a deeper hole. You had no one to hold your fire. It is sad, but it is the truth. You had nobody to get heat rubbed on you. It is sad, but it is the truth. Your family vampired you down. I've had horrible vampiring experiences, Nick, but when you are the guy, when you are the mutant, that is your name, you need to constantly be the mutant walking around. Venom, be the fucking person you said you are. The mutant isn't fucking at home relaxing during prep and letting go. No, you're holding in. Hold that heat, right? You're not doing it. And maybe you didn't have to do it. Maybe Tony Hawk should have done it. But he's a fucking skateboarder, bro. You hired a skateboarder as your prep coach. And he's just showing his passion for skating, bro. You steady on the growth, steady on the grind. I don't know what happened, my dog.
That I worked so hard for. And there's so many things that come into play because it's like, all I want to do is win the Olympia.
So again, if you guys are new here, I did some spiritual biohacking content. This is called the ego shadow persona. I'll have Andrew throw it up if you want to watch me explain what's going on. Essentially, his shadow is not big enough to fight back as his ego is shattered. I would recommend him going and just being around fighters that have the shit beaten out of them, and being around guys who have dealt with multiple shatterings. The reason why I can't be touched is because I have been knocked out. I have the shit beat out of me. I have been shattered and shattered and shattered and shattered and shattered and shattered and shattered endlessly in my life, to a point where my shadow will come and comfort me. His shadow's not big enough for this, and his ego popped. It was drained. The heat was drained. The force field was drained. Tony Hawk, steady on the growth, was not there to ignite him or give him anything. It's sad. And this is why spiritual biohacking should become the norm, just like how enhanced pharmacology has become the norm. Because this isn't a pharmacology issue. This isn't a work ethic issue. This is a neurological, psychological, spiritual issue that could have been resolved. Could have sat me down next to him and I would have tooted him up and damaged him immediately to cause a reverb. And then he would have locked back in. We would have moved him. Like, Andrew, we should have just moved him in the ghetto. When I lived in the ghetto, there was like pit bull fighting down the street. I'd hear dogs die. There's addicts everywhere. An influencer, Russo, was living in Tacoma, collecting the sauce of the ghetto. When I didn't need to live in the ghetto, but I just like trapping. Why did I like trapping? I like trapping to stay driven, okay? When we have fucking Kevin Levrone did the same thing as me, trapping. I only got this house for my girl. Right? I only got the house for my girl because she lived in so many trap houses, and Andrew would go like, when Andrew would come over, I'd be like talking about my new trap, and my girl was pissed that she had no house to take her friends over because I would constantly be buying traps. But there's a reason why I buy trap houses, because sometimes you got to remind yourself where you came from. You can't be cushy at the top. You soften out and you fall off. Yeah, you got to stay driven. You got to stay in that heat. And if you're not a guy like that, you got to buy someone to hold the heat for you, and you got to have them around you, okay? Tony Hawk, pro steady on the growth, ain't that guy. No, the opposite. This is pathetic. This is hilarious. This is like a meme video that Andrew, when I watched this the first time, I just like, Carolyn's like, why are you dying over there? I'm like, I'm watching this video that I'm like, I don't know if I'll be able to react to it. It's just so insane that this is like, you should have stepped on stage and ate the humiliation and reignited your fire. Instead, you made it worse.
For myself and be Matt's first Olympia winner. He opened.
Bro, Matt Jansen, he fucking let you down with this. He should have moved you into like fucking a war zone, bro. You should have like completed the prep somewhere where you had heat around you, my dog. I want to see Nick win. I've always been pushing on Nick. It's like something where I'm just like, man, like how did all of them let him get like this to a point where this is the humiliation? Him crying? Like, I want to see this shit. His shadow should already be beating him into a pulp. His shadow ain't doing shit. Like, it's always a mess with these bodybuilders. It's always a mess. But to me, Nick was super hyper driven, super hyper locked, that if Matt Jansen was really in his ear every day, you're not locked. Hey man, mentally I was with you at this show. You were mentally here, you're not locked. You're not locked. I don't want you to lose, man. Hey, maybe move out of your family's house and just finish the Olympia and then go back in and relax. And we'll work on your mind state and your aura boosting technology and everything. We'll do that later. But like right now, you got to move into a 1-bedroom and like you just live in there, and like I'll put like a Baird 50 cal on the fucking, you know, you'll look at that and we'll try and work you towards like at least not getting dead last. No, he completely falls apart. It will be hard to rebuild this. It is possible, but it will be hard to rebuild.
Olympia winner, and it's another year I gotta fucking miss it, and it sucks.
You didn't have to miss it. Your ego's making you miss it. If you had a shadow big enough, your shadow would put you on stage, my man. Your shadow would collect the hate, the darkness, and go poof, and relight you, and then you could slowly justify that gigantic diva Evo you're carrying around. And maybe this is good for you, dude. Maybe somebody comes into your life that's holding heat and can fix you, but this is a straight lie. You should have went on stage, you should have got dead last, and you should have had a coach that made you did that.
But, you know, I refuse to step on
stage to admit what I currently am. All that matters is now.
Stage anything less than my best. And
Nope. No. You're not at your best, bro. You're not. You can go how you are, as you is. Okay? This is pathetic. I'm only gonna go if I'm better than I was. That's not how competitive sports work. I get it's a pageant. Bodybuilding's not a competitive sport. Russo played competitive sports where I was sick, I was weight deprived, I threw up before my cross-country race because I wanted to please my father. I still ran. I still got my shitty time that day. I had my ego shattered that day. I was so much good 3 weeks ago on my running time. I just beat this guy in a match that was twice the size of this guy, blah, blah, blah. I keep going. My shadow puts me back in line, buddy. You're a fucking diva, a fucking giga diva. You should have stepped on stage. Get rid of Tony Hawk Pro Skater. I don't want to listen to any more of this dumb shit, bro.
And I'm still, in my mind, the third best bodybuilder in the world.
No, the fuck you're not. In your mind versus reality. In reality, you didn't fucking show up. You're cooked.
Because that's where I left. And with the way I was looking, it just wasn't gonna be that way.
Don't be like Nick. Have a shadow. Have a shadow be like, hey buddy, like it's time to go up there and get humiliated. Because if you don't, this will get worse. I want to see you get better. You have to justify this ego. In reality, you're not the third best bodybuilder in the world. You're going to be last at this show, but you have to pull this dark and create a yin yang again. Tony Hawk Pro Skater, steady on the growth, made you fully yin. You need to be the yin and the yang. I'll see you guys in my next video.